Okay. Good evening, family. This is Dr. John Thomas with another installment of Resilience Matters. I have two wonderful people that I would like to introduce you to today. They are both nurse practitioners, and I wanted to speak to them today about their experiences in the medical field. Why don't you two guys introduce yourselves?
Hi, my name is Norma Oguguos. Um, I'm a registered nurse at Washington Hospital Center, and presently I'm a nurse practitioner. I work at a private practice in a pediatric office. I've been at that office for going to 3 years, but my nursing experience has been for almost 23 to 24 years now.
Okay. And what about that nice gentleman sitting next to you?
Thank you very much, Dr. Thomas. My name is Everest Oguguos, and I've been in the field of healthcare for about 15 years. I specialize in emergency department, emergency room care. But I have left it for about a year now and get into mental health. So I'm a nurse practitioner in mental health, and I'm pursuing my doctorate degree at this point.
Okay. For those people who might not know, what's the difference between a nurse and a nurse practitioner?
And a registered nurse is a professional nurse that provide health care to clients, to patients. But he or she will work under the supervision of a doctor who writes prescriptions, who puts on the order, and then the nurse carries it out. But a nurse practitioner is a provider just like a doctor. They will treat, they will diagnose, and they will, whatever a doctor does as a patient, with a patient, a nurse practitioner can provide those services as well.
Okay.
They are independent practitioners.
All right. Thank you for that clarification. So I wanted to ask you both, what made you decide to get into the medical field initially?
Personally, I will not speak for Niama, but for myself, my area of specialty was in software engineering. I was a software engineer for Verizon for a long time. I had my first degree in computer science. So while working as a software engineer in telecommunication industry, I found out that the job was very unstable. When telecommunication industry goes up, they hire you. When the industry goes down, they fire you. So at a point, with somebody who has a family, I needed somebody some kind of job that will give me security, which means I don't have to be, working with the trend of the stock market. So with my passion and the encouragement I got from my wife, who is also a nurse, I decided to change my degree, went back to school and read a bachelor's degree in nursing. And from there, I moved forward.
Okay.
Yes, for me, Niama, I've always had the passion to care, to take care of people from childhood. So I got into nursing when I was in the 20s, finished my nursing degree in Nigeria, came over here, took my board, and became a registered nurse after my board. What led me into nursing has much to do with having passion for people, taking care of people. The gratitude I get when I see my patients get better and move on, I mean, nothing comes more than that. So that's how I got into nursing. And that is why it's kind of hard for me to actually let go. I've been a nurse practitioner for almost going to 3 years, but I still go to my nursing profession because I love those bedside healing. I love talking to my patients. I love when I see them get better, it has a kind of fulfillment it gives me. So that's what led me into healthcare in general.
Okay. All right. So I want to talk a little bit about what some of the stressors in your occupation might have been before the pandemic. What were some of the things that made your job more difficult or just more stressful?
I can start with that one also. For one to be a registered nurse or for one to be into nursing and be a caregiver, you have to have the patient and you have to really love your job. If you don't love your job, you cannot survive as a nurse. Typical day, you can get in ready to do your work, but one or two things might just distract you, might just pull you to the other side. But knowing what you believe and what you stand for and what was the reason why you joined the profession, that's what holds you down. I mean, you can get into job and sometimes you don't have enough staffing. Sometimes management are getting on you while you think you're actually doing your job. Maybe there's a little documentation you didn't finish. You get reprimanded for that, not even getting to your other side that probably you had some other issues that made you not to, finish those assignments. But nursing is a very, very tedious job that when you get into it, you have to let go every other thing and focus and remind yourself the reason why you're doing what you're doing. Because, people talk about nursing being paid very well. That's why a lot of people get into it. But I don't believe that. They cannot pay us enough for what we do.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Taking it from her, I think my source of stressors while I was working in the emergency room was a staffing issue, nurse shortage, emergency staffing issues and shortage of what I said, shortage of staff, pretty much. Emergency department is a very busy environment, and you need enough staff to be able to take care of patients. One nurse cannot take care of 5 patients that are critically sick. That has been the issue. If a nurse has to take care of 5 patients or more, the care quality will be compromised. That's not what you want. The goal of giving care is to see a patient feel better and go home better than they first came to you. But if you're gonna just see all the patients without giving them quality care they deserve, so it defeats the purpose. So one of the things that stress us out, because when you complain, they just felt that maybe you are lazy, maybe you don't want to do your job. But imagine if a patient is having a heart attack and another one is having a respiratory issue, and one nurse has to take care of them at the same time. It is kind of challenging. That is why, staffing has been an issue. And sometimes the resources can be challenging as well. But the major stressors that I experienced as an emergency room nurse was issues related to staff.
Okay. Let's jump forward a little bit and talk about how COVID-19 impacted what you do at work, uh, your home life, and the issues that you've already mentioned, and any other insights that you might have.
Okay, when it comes to COVID, as it relates to my job, is a very new situation. All my life I have never experienced this kind of pandemic. We have never heard of COVID-19 in our life. But all of a sudden, when that comes, everybody was nervous. The doctors, the nurses, the staff, even the patients, everybody was nervous. And then there was no resources. Most hospital organizations were very unprepared. No resources, no PPEs, no gears, no gloves or mask or anything. With my experience, I have never used a mask or a glove in my life. You use one glove, you see one patient, you take it out and wash your hand, and then you use another glove to see another patient.
Mm-hmm.
But in the midst of COVID-19, they were rationing materials. They expect you to reuse glove, reuse mask, reuse everything. And everybody is afraid. Even when you have patient that, you suspect, we haven't even ruled out the COVID, and they want you to go in there with a mask that is not N95, because very often they run out of N95. So resources has been the major issue as it relates to COVID. I can assure you that many nurses and doctors, given the resources, can do a better job in this COVID. The resources is very, very shortcoming.
Okay.
Well, yes, the COVID pandemic issue is something new in the healthcare system in United States. Like my husband said, the major issue we had was availability of PPE. We had limited mask, limited glove, limited everything. Like he rightfully said, there are situations where you don't reuse your N95, and of which COVID issue is one of them. So we were forced to reuse mask. In fact, I was given a mask to use it for 7 days.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of the well-known hospitals in the United States that you can never imagine such a thing to happen. So in that situation, what are you going to do? Are you going to walk away and leave your patient? Or are you going to walk into that room and, keep walking and bring the COVID back to your family? So it becomes a problem that you don't really know where to stand. Some days I come back from work, my husband had to take the kids upstairs. I have to sleep in the basement. In fact, he arranged a room in the basement for me. That's where I call my COVID room.
Okay.
Okay. So it was kind of challenging in all round. But lately has gotten much, much better. In fact, 2 weeks ago, we were told, okay, you can only use your mask once a day, which that we can understand. So the stress that the COVID issue contributed was a lot. I'm talking about the hospital. Coming out in the community, my husband can tell you that even sometimes when I get off work and I feel like I want to run in and pick up grocery, pick up my gas and go home. But during the COVID, as a healthcare provider, if anybody sees you out there wearing scrubs, I mean, some nurses were even, lashed out, screamed out why they walk into the school wearing their scrub, even if you're just getting up to go to work and you just feel like stopping out. So, there was a lot of discrimination towards the nurses, the healthcare providers. And then we, the healthcare providers, it's like we're at war. You go to work, you don't know what you're going to face. The stress, walking into a patient room, and then, which in a normal situation, you would have helped a whole lot better. But because of the COVID, you're restricted to do a whole lot of things. You know, you watch your patient die. I mean, we talk about deaths, before a patient dies in a hospital, it takes a toll. You know, the whole team jumps in and, you know, carry a code and do all sorts of things. But in a day, you see 2, 3, 4 people dying in front of you. So you come home, you don't know which stress to face, whether the one outside or the one, you know, the patient you're holding on your hand that just died in front of you. And things were not getting better each day. So I thank God for the vaccine that is out. You know, maybe in the next coming months, things will get better.
You know, I'm glad you mentioned that part about the vaccines. The last interview that we did, they were still trying to figure out how to get the vaccines out. And just in the people that I've spoken to personally, just regular everyday folks, I get a lot of mixed feelings and thoughts and statements about whether to get the vaccine or not, from, well, actually from inside and outside of the medical community. So what are they doing at your place of employment in terms of getting the vaccine to its employees?
Like I said, I work in a large, well-known hospital. So I already got, in fact, I got my second dose 2 days ago. That's why you're able to meet me at home, because I had to really stay home a little bit to get myself better.
Okay.
So it's very, very easy. You just register. They have the website, their intranet. You go through their intranet and register for the first, pick up the dates you prefer. You register. And when it's time for you to get the vaccine, you run down there, get the vaccine, wait for 15 minutes to see if there's any reaction. If there's no reaction, you head back to work. That's how I got mine.
Okay.
Then after 21 days from my schedule, they did it very well, because that same day, in fact, 2 days prior to me getting the vaccine, they kept sending me email, you know, constantly, 2 or 3 emails reminding me about my, you know, my appointments to get my second dose of vaccine. That same day, my phone rang more than 5 times, just for them to let me know at 8 p.m. you're scheduled to come and get your COVID vaccine. So immediately I got to work, I called down there. They said, yeah, come on in. So I ran down, got it, and went back to work. So it's very simple. It's very easy at this hospital. I cannot tell for other hospitals.
Okay. Just a few more questions, guys. The first is, what do you do to help fight burnout?
Well, in my own, let me talk. And my own situation is different, because I am multitask. In fact, this is a question I get every day. I'm a wife with 5 kids and a husband.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a registered nurse. I work 3 days a week. I'm a nurse practitioner. I work 3 days a week in a busy practice also. I'm also in school, finishing up my doctorate as a doctor and nurse practitioner. So my stress level is quite different from
so
the
what
other
you're
person.
telling me is that you have 5 jobs. That's really what you're telling me.
That's typically what it is. So I deal with time. Time management is very, very important in my life. I have time to do each different thing at different time, so that I can meet up with what I'm doing. So, but with the COVID, which has made the stress level so high, the school tried a little bit. They were a little bit lenient. You know, they tried to talk to us about, you know, how we handle our stress and everything. But I'm good. I'm good. So my stress level is not going to be the same with other people. So my husband might answer that questions better.
Anyway, I personally manage the way I manage my burnout at work is that I say to myself that I'm not gonna take anything that happened at work. I'm not gonna take it home. I'm not gonna bring it home. So the source of energy, my source of energy is knowing that after 8 hours, I'm going home. As I'm doing my job and I'm looking at the time, once it's time for me to go home, I feel refreshed. Coming back to my home, to my family, actually will give me an instant relief. Uh, you know, I try to work under tension. I try to work as a team, even when I don't like what's going on. Try to do my job because it's all about patience. You can't carry it on patience. So my thing is that I already know that emergency room is a stress, a high stress environment. I know there is a lot of burnout in nursing, and coming from the management, coming from the staff, your fellow staff, coming from patients. So my thing is, I decide to, take it easy, take a deep breath, while I'm at work. And but once I get home, I feel more refreshed and start another day. Um, Come home and do my exercise, stay with my family, talk about life, and then, you refresh one day at a time.
Okay. Last question for you guys. What do you think big institutions can do, like hospitals, to help alleviate some of the issues associated with burnout?
Organizations are responsible to invest in their staff in terms of education, in terms of counseling, in terms of resources, because organizations that invest in their staff will always profit. Because the goal of every organization is to give patients and their clients the best quality care. So when a nurse is happy, he will work better. So making your employees comfortable, inspiring them, improving their life in terms of career and education and counseling, you and giving them all the resources they need, including enough staffing, you are doing that organization a big favor. Because at the end of the day, you're gonna have patient satisfaction, you're gonna have staff satisfaction, and then you're gonna save yourself money, and you're gonna, benefit from it. So I think organizations have a lot of responsibilities in terms of making sure that their staff are inspired, are encouraged, asking them questions, asking them to make contributions, helping them to own ownership, to see themselves as part of the owner. That encourages staff, and that helps to relieve burnout as well.
Okay. Okay. I want to thank you guys for spending some time with us and sharing your life and your passions with us. Uh, I'm doing everything I can to help promote the idea of wellness and to reach out, especially to all of those individuals who are still going out every day, going to work, interacting with the public, and honestly, keeping us safe. So I want to thank you for what you do. and remind everyone just to remember your resilience matters.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Thomas.
Thank you.